Hello, and welcome to A Woman with Hollow Eyes, a one-shot production of Invisible Sun. I'm Darcy Ross, your GM, and why don't I introduce my two players this week?
All right, I am James D'Amato. I'm host of the One Shot podcast, but today at this table, I am Calvin Weaver, a person who has recently discovered he is a Vizsla, which is a magic user who has been ripped from our fictional reality called Shadow and put into the actuality, a magical world that he does not understand. And boy howdy, has that never been more clear than when we last saw Calvin, as he started dying outside of his apartment because he signed a lease that said, "You live here." Because there were some people who wanted to know, and I mentioned it last time we tried to broadcast, Calvin is a man in his late 20s. He's got a sort of a longish pointed nose and big poofy Steve Harrington style hair. And currently he is sort of dressed in clothes that don't fit him very well because he is borrowing them from technically his boss, who is a man who is also a book.
Exactly. And why don't we introduce Wayne?
I am Alan Linick. I am playing Wayne, no last name, but sometimes called by a nickname when among rat people. Specs is that nickname. Wayne is a man of tattered memories who is currently working to reverse engineer what he believes is some kind of memory manipulation magic, or perhaps like a timeline removal, like a surgical timeline removal. He has discovered that it's tough going by himself and is trying to relearn what it means to be part of a group again, which is where his buddy from the Shadow, Calvin, comes in, as well as his soulmate, Kitty, comes in. And when we last left Wayne, he was wandering off into the world of Satyrine to assist our little rat lady on a quest, which was pretty secret-y, and we may be revealing some details of fairly soon.
Alan and I have been doing development mode, which you can see videos of on YouTube and everything. But you can also do development mode over text or just verbally at a coffee shop. You can do it, and we've been doing it on a Slack thread, so some Slack DMs. So that's been really fun, kind of little mixed media play-by-post stuff. So we'll maybe release some of that or just give you some of the secrets as it comes out in play. So I think before we get into, today Invisible Sun has people dealing with magic and studying things, and so sometimes you have really interesting time jumps as you go study in a library for 3 weeks, because you're all beautiful nerds, which I love. But I think there was some pretty big questions raised at the last development mode session, so I think we need to get a little bit of what happened right after when everyone got back together. So Wayne had gone off and helped a lovely young rat daughter who had arrived with her surreptitious, bejeweled, bedazzled, huge fur coat in his not very nice part of the district. And Calvin was besieged upon by his landlord, right?
Yeah.
So things happened, and when they met back up at the Wenosphere, I think that's when we're going to jump back in. So Wayne, when you finally get back,
And we just got a sub.
oh, hello,
Hooray.
awesome.
Boom.
Thank you. And subs are, our subs?
Refresh our memory, because
Yeah.
even
Subs
we have
are
forgotten.
giving a player sortilege.
Sortilege.
Okay.
Ooh, very cool.
So names equipped, you can assign sortilege to the player of your
Yes.
choice.
Excellent. So
Sorry to
once they
derail you.
no, that's good. We need to take notice. So one of you is going to get sortilege. Wayne, when you get back to the Wenosphere, Calvin are you there yet, or?
You have left, right?
I left the Wenosphere, and I left it in pretty rough shape.
Oh yeah, so we have to
If
come
we
in when
remember.
you
Right.
come back in. Here's your extra sortilege.
We had another sub too.
Ooh!
Extra sortilege. We're gonna give out the tiny sortilege for now, the tiny D10s.
Yay! Burning that Twitch Prime sub.
And resubs, do they count? I would assume.
I think I think if we get a notification of it, it counts.
Yeah, that sounds great. So the Wenosphere is this beautiful spherical building that when you walk inside, the gravity sort of follows you, so you're on the surface at all times. But when Calvin had last left it, it was you went through the ether, like the ether, right? So like the electrical outlets and stuff are ether, and they're very ghost associated. But so you'd zipped through that because of the lightning sort of taking you through, right?
Exactly.
So what all did you break? Did you bust up mostly his kitchen or living room?
So, I mean, there was a lot that sort of busted up I think I broke a glass in his kitchen. The gravity started to fail for
That's
me,
right.
which caused me to crash into a bunch of his furniture.
Yeah.
But probably the realest and largest bit of damage was by the front door. In order to get out of there and save myself, I cast a spell that essentially turned me into thunder, and I used that to go through the ether. So there's I think a huge lightning bolt, spidery burnt pattern around this light that was on the interior of his door. And I don't even know if his power is working, if his ether is still working.
I doubt it. I think the ether is off. And so, Wayne, do you usually have any kind of security systems that are powered by ether that you might notice are malfunctioning when you're approaching?
I think I don't yet, but maybe.
That seems like a thing in the future.
I might have
Oh no.
eventually.
Okay, so you get back to the Wenosphere, and maybe the door looks fine, but as soon as you throw open the door,
Yeah, I think we start almost doing a sweep around this kind of disheveled, broken, spherical residence. And when we finally settle up on the door, we can faintly hear a sound of step drag, step drag, step drag. And the door, we kind of see the door shutter as someone kind of bonks up into it. And you hear a sound of keys jingling, and then the door just kind of folds open, and Wayne stumbles kind of into the house. He is coatless, and his whole right leg, there's the pants are kind of torn and partially burned away, and everything from the knee down is just kind of charred and smoldering, and there's smoke kind of trailing in thin wisps from where the skin is cracked and burnt up.
Jeez, you're really beat up.
Yeah, and Wayne kind of stumbles in and catches himself on the doorknob and supports himself up, wincing, and calls up towards the hatch in the ceiling.
Right.
From where he's currently standing, where Calvin is supposed to be in his workshop, and just looks up and around. Calvin! Then slowly takes in the room.
You get another sortilege, I believe.
Ooh.
I saw
Hooray.
From Tinder Loss.
Thank you.
Thank you. And you hear a meow in response, but it's coming from outside. It's a cat sitting on the windowsill. It's that same cat you saw earlier. Not that you've seen it, audience. What does this cat look like, James?
I think this cat
has been watching the Wenosphere from the neighbor's yard.
Ooh.
But is now moved up to the Wenosphere.
I'm going to say it's one of those big, fluffy, long hair cats, and it's got sort of a ghostly gray coat and very, very dark green eyes that sort of shine from its snub-nosed face. It's got one of those little smush faces.
Yes, good. All right. But that's just a detail. You have probably bigger things to worry about than that cat, which is the enormous charred pattern of lightning in your room and no Calvin response from above. So what do?
First things first, I shut the door and I crouch up against the wall, leaning on it for support. Lean to peer more openly, get a better view, and make sure there's no one else here.
Yeah, make me some kind of perception roll or investigation kind of thing. So you can use sortilege if you'd like to use magic to sort of reach out.
I think I'm just gonna look around.
Just look around. Do you have any skills that would relate? Is that a 0?
It is a 0. So
okay, it's not flux, but you don't initially see anything, and I think maybe maybe something about the way you're beat up makes it really hard to sort of perceive. Do you have like a black eye, or is it all sort of your body, or?
I think I'm covered, maybe like covered in soot as well.
Yeah.
And I'm just like kind of blinking. That I've got that. After you're too close to a fire for a while, you get like smoke eye.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of blinking back. My eyes are real watery.
Perfect. All right, that sounds good. The gravity is working in here. Folks are wondering, so that's nothing news to you, but that is news to Calvin if he is ever able to get back here. So yeah, you're not able to find any sign of Calvin. So
I wander over towards a small dresser drawer, and instead of pulling one of the drawers out like you normally would, I pull it up, like just straight up, and it opens like a hatch. And I scrounge around in there, and like a couple of bottles clink clink like fall over, and I pull out like a long, what looks like a silver stake. It's basically like a long, sharp cone.
Yeah.
And I look away, and then I jam it into my leg.
Oh God.
And it quickly like almost like a ripple of skin, like my leg rebuilds itself, and I stretch and like wince and like kind of put my weight back on it until it feels right again. And then I grab a spare jacket from a different drawer, opening normally, and head right back out the door to go look for Calvin.
Okay. So are you thinking, are you still out where you're at, or do you come upon Wayne?
I think he would encounter me at my apartment.
Okay, cool.
So I kind of feel like, we'll dash forward in time to Calvin's apartment. Wayne's been there before, so he goes up to knock on the door, and you can hear faintly inside like a tinkling sound, like metal on metal, delicate metal on metal. And you hear faint, "Come in!" And when you open the door, the floor in front of you is just a cacophony of sound, and it's difficult to push the door inward because the ground is covered in hundreds upon hundreds of silver spoons of different shapes and sizes, but all made of brilliant silver. When you open the door, a bunch of small songbirds fly immediately at your head, tweeting like a sort of metallic kind of melody. It's halfway between a bird song and a spoon clinking against glass. And there's silver feathers everywhere as you push your way in. And you can see Calvin is in the middle of the floor looking at his hands. And he slowly draws out of one of his fingers another silver spoon, looks at it curiously, and then tosses it aside on top of the other hundreds of spoons. Above his head, probably about 6 feet, looks like a moray eel made out of shadows and covered in eyes of different types. It's just like, you see owl eyes on there, and you see large spider eyes and fly eyes just along this body of moving shadow with these long, sharp silver teeth. It looks like it's in some sort of glass ball, and it's just thrashing around, trying to go for Calvin, but seeing that there's something new in the room, like the eyes sort of all turn on you, and then it thrashes against the glass as you come in the room. Wayne, how are you?
How do you look, by the way? Outfit-wise, are you doing okay? Are you sweaty? Are you clean shaven?
I think Calvin is probably clean shaven because I don't know if his beard grows.
That's a great point.
Actuality. His hair has like the normal wild quality that it has to it. It might appear like bigger and more unkempt because that clearly hasn't been a priority for him. He definitely looks like disheveled.
Okay.
And I think his shirt still has blood on it because I don't think he has another shirt.
Yep.
He's right now not wearing shoes, and his pants are sort of rolled up. And he's barefoot, and he looks just like a madman, an absolute madman right now.
So, instantly suspicious.
Wayne, you don't look well.
You don't look well.
Do you still have that spike sticking out of you, or did
I
it
lean,
sort of
it like,
dematerialize?
Yeah,
it all went all the way in?
It like goes in, once you start going, it wants to go the rest of the way.
Okay.
And I think, I don't even step into the threshold of the
Yeah.
apartment before slowly kneeling down. I like tap with my gloved hand, tap at one of the spoons, and then pick it up, and then start taking a look at it.
Great.
Do I notice anything about them in particular?
I mean, they are made with magic, and I feel like the silver of them is like the light of the silver sun. That's so it's that sort of made solid.
Other things you would know as a maker are that there are things that are conjured, right? This is drawing raw silver from the silver sun and making it real. And so although you're drawing from all your experiences of what this is a whole diversity of spoons that you could think of, you would know that like this is not a maker who is kindling items and really thinking about the fine little intricacies of these items. This is a little more like primordial, a little more an early artist's work at whatever this is made of. You can tell that like this is an interestingly kind of apprentice level of craftsmanship. Right?
Okay. I kind of go to toss a spoon away, but hoping to subtly just flip it behind and like stick it up my sleeve so I can look at it later. And then
Be careful. Every fifth one turns into a bird. There's no time or anything that I can discern that causes it. It's just eventually every fifth spoon will be a bird.
And where are your shoes?
Where are my shoes? I don't know if I had shoes when I got here. I had other priorities at the time.
Right. I come in, like still staying close to the door, I come in and close the door behind me.
You feel the sort of magical pressure that builds up after you've closed it for all the contract's power over this space.
What happened to my house? And do you mind if I borrow a pair of pants?
Not at all. I don't know that I have that. But if I did, I would not mind it at all. Now, as far as what happened to your house, when I was there last, your rat friend came over. I turned the thing as you asked, and then I started to die. I began to age and bleed, and the gravity in your home started to fail. You might want to get that looked at. And
that's not possible.
Before I passed away, I sort of instinctually cast a spell that wound up with me coming back here.
Okay.
And I may have done some damage in the process. And I apologize about that.
Do you remember seeing anything out of the ordinary? Did you eat anything? Did you touch anything?
I did start to feel thirsty, so I tried to have a drink, and that just tasted very, very bad.
Yeah.
But I don't think that was related. After some careful study, I've determined that I cannot leave my apartment.
Aha.
And my landlord, now this you're going to think is very interesting. I was downstairs when I, finished my spell, moving through the electric grid or whatever it is you have here. I wound up in the sausage shop, and I saw my landlord, or I think I saw my landlord. What I definitely did see is a series of angels and demons being ground down into sausages. After seeing that, I was sort of drawn to the sausage maker, and I felt myself stop moving. And then I learned how to touch freedom, and really didn't have great control over it that time. I have been doing some training since then, and I've gotten much better at it. I grabbed some freedom, and I used that to cast the spell that I'm sustaining to keep me here now.
Okay. Two things. Are you sure you're not dead? Because that's possible.
Wow. Whoa. Head trip, Wayne, huh? You know what I'm going to say? Don't think so, but
Great.
not sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which brings me to my second thing.
Yeah.
Could you take off all your clothes for me?
Why not? Kelvin sort of very casually stands up and begins to unbutton his shirt. And then once that is off, sort of revealing his... Kelvin doesn't work out, but he also didn't eat a lot in the shadow
scrawny.
because he was an artist and you got to sacrifice something, right? So he's not in good shape. He's very skinny and extremely pale because he was in Chicago.
They do prefer some physical RP. So if you
Yeah.
could unbutton a button. How many bits would that be to unbutton a button?
Well,
100
because this
bits per
is
button.
because this is attached to my microphone right now, that's going to be more than you can afford.
Yes.
Because I need to keep those clips in place. But yeah, so Kelvin has taken off his shirt, and then after he sort of throws that onto what looks like a chair made of spoons. He throws that onto a chair. He immediately unbuttons his pants and throws those onto a chair. And before he can remove his boxer briefs, they turn into a bird and they sort of fly at you. And there's a brief
The
moment
camera
where-
view is just the birds
Where-
exploding from.
Given what I've just been through, instinctively, I just, from a pocket in my shirt, I just whip a business card directly at it. And it shears almost like the best analogy I can think of is the Destructo disc. It shears through the bird from beak to tail, and it just splits in half and goes around the sides of Wayne's head. And I, sorry, you're not you don't get attached to the birds.
I feel like if it weren't for the other spell I'm sustaining, I would be more upset about that.
Okay, I'll build you a replacement bird.
It's okay.
I walk over to Calvin, who is now standing naked in his apartment, and I immediately start to inspect his skin, trying to make sure A, he's alive, and B, there aren't any there's no incantations that are binding him. Nobody has control over him. I'm just basically looking around to see if there's anything that's been imprinted on him physically or otherwise.
Yeah, I think this is a great use for a little bit of sortilege, possibly, as you're sort of testing the field.
I will.
So I would say you need 2 successes to make sure you get it. Would you like to spend any of your bene? This might be an intellect-based task.
Then I will.
Do it. Okay.
I have so much of that. And something real bad could happen if I screw up on the sortilege one, right? So the sortilege is orange.
Okay.
So I have a 4 and a 3.
Awesome. You were looking for a 3. So you just make it. So mostly Calvin feels normal, but you have some spells going on of your own. Why don't you explain those that he definitely detects? Sort of the baseline spells you have going on there.
So there is, right now, he has a weave of freedom and wind, freedom and thunder together, which is sort of using the ether lines in this apartment. They've sort of made a web, and that is preventing him from getting pulled. He's sort of tethered here. Because you can see the apartment's incantation or whatever is drawing him down. The other thing that you can see is that he's woven together thunder and freedom to take the fear in his body and pull it out, and it's currently being held in that fishbowl.
That's very good.
In the middle of the room.
And Phil of Canada mentioned that he gave 100 bits for adding one to the venture, and mentioned that those goggles would definitely help you, would sort of add to your venture as well. So that's a higher degree of success. So what I would also mention is that you get a little bit of the sense of as you're looking at all these things that are tethered to Calvin, you notice another one that's sort of, let's see, it would be It would be silver, but it's wrapped around him like a thickly braided cord. It's sort of tied around him, and it's leading out in a very single direction, and it's got this sort of interesting resonance frequency to it, and it's leading out the door, off in some direction you can't really tell what that would be leading to. So there's something else that Calvin has a tie to that's sort of magically enforced.
And silver in reference to silver sun represents what?
Kind of creation, something from nothing. So why don't you make me a roll if you want to try to understand what that is.
And we had people asking what the fear looked like. That was
yes.
the eel that I described in the orb earlier. So it's a shadowy eel covered in eyes. I was just pulling time while you were rolling, but we stopped.
No, that's
Oh
good.
yeah, I was fascinated, so I actually stopped to listen. My bad.
An 8.
An 8.
Okay, cool. And an 8, and this is sort of your jam, is enchanting things. What you are pulling onto is how do you dissect this little piece? Do you magically, you're not actually touching him. You're sort of looking at this cord that Calvin can't see, but you've got the goggles on. Are you pulling at it with your magic? Do you have tools? How do you analyze things?
I think, if anything, I pull one of my lenses down, and I look flat across the top of the line, and I just literally zoom all the way, magically follow it with a zoom in effect
That's
all the way
cool.
down to see where it goes.
So we have this tunnel vision zooming through Saturnine, and you find yourself in Kitty's bar. There is the Moxie, the bartender, in the background, and Kitty is sitting there with some sort of sigil she's working on, and you can see that the cord is also tied around Kitty.
Huh. Well, that's a good thing. Okay, you can put your clothes back on if you wanna.
I mean, it would get cold. So Calvin thought sort of wanders over the chair, throws his shirt back on, goes over the pants, frowns at the dead bird on the floor. Gotta get more underwear. Though it happened again, and that one wasn't from Shadow. So we've got to deal with that now. He pulls his pants back on, zips them up, and returns to just below this orb with the eel inside, and sits down and once again starts pulling spoons out of his hand and flicking them across the room.
We're gonna go talk to your landlord.
There's a GM shift. I'm going to award you 1 despair, as there's a horrible noise coming from below the floorboards. It's sort of a muffled keening, and quickly that gets cut off more quickly than a natural noise would otherwise be cut off.
Sounds good to me.
Can you put the fear back in? I just think we might need it.
I could, but I have to tell you, I have been without it for a week or so now. I don't really see the point of it. There's not a lot you can accomplish when you're having a panic attack for days.
Sure.
Days. But without it, I have been getting a lot of work done. I've made so many spoons. I've discovered, I pulled one of the spoons out, and it was this. Started as a spoon, turned out as this. I don't know how that works. I don't know how any of this works. I ripped my soul out of my body, Wayne. That's the sort of thing you can do without fear. And I marched that soul right over the head of the Weavers Guild, and I had him advance me in the guild. That was a whole thing. But now I'm allowed to use freedom as much as I want. All without fear. It's great. It's great, Wayne. You want me to pull your fear out of you?
No. Counterpoint. Thinking about this logically, ripping one's soul out intentionally is, I would say, terrible. And something that fear is in your body to help prevent you from doing.
I've gotta say, I definitely see your mechanical point about how fear would stop something like that. But from my perspective, I'm incapable of understanding why ripping your soul out of your body is a bad thing. It really worked for me.
You like living, clearly, or you would just leave your apartment without worrying about dying at all.
What dying is like. Maybe that's something I've been missing, Wayne.
Yeah. I'll tell you. You know what? I take the fish bowl,
It's just thrashing around in your hands.
and I just slip it into a pocket. I'm gonna take your fear with us.
Okay.
You coming?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. We're gonna go have a chat with Daniel McPherson.
Oh, hang on. He runs over to the closet and he reaches inside and grabs out a trench coat. So now he has like these sort of wool brown pants that are rolled up, button-down white shirt that's kind of tattered with a blood stain on it, and a black trench coat. It's the only thing I got from Librelite that fits. It's great.
Oh, great. I'm glad I left my coat at the bathhouse. Otherwise, we'd just look like a weird, mismatched, different colored coat couple.
How fun would that be?
Then I turn on my heel and start walking out the door.
Someone gets a sub. Someone gets a sortilege.
Sortilege, hell yeah.
From Rourke, lovely.
Thank you, Rourke.
Need something good to happen to this kiddo. Excellent. All right, so you're just gonna go downstairs and meet the landlord.
Knock on the door.
Excellent. Who's taking point? You are?
Yeah.
Okay. You knock on the door and no one answers. The windows inside that front sausage shop have been, Calvin knows that they were like kind of blown out. They look perfectly normal and fixed now, but the inside is still incongruously dusty, just sort of that storefront that's never used. And so you knock and you wait, and no one comes to answer it for at least a good bit.
That's where the organ grinder music is coming from, by the way. Figured that out. Another mystery solved.
And how are you feeling so far, physically?
Well, there is a pull into the door. I can definitely tell that something wants me to go in that door.
All right, hold on a second. I'm going to use cryptesthesia
Oh, God.
to take a look into this abode beyond the door itself.
Beyond the door.
So, yes, with a wave and a word, I see beyond the wall, door, or other barrier that I touch.
Super cool.
So I'm going to look through the door and then hopefully also be able to kind of move down the wall and just see all the way, like almost like an X-ray machine.
So you spend the amount of sortilege that is its level, which is probably 1. It's 2. Cool. And
Sortilege or sorcery?
Sorcery, you're totally right. Cool, nice. And then why don't you make a roll to sort of see if you can, it's hard to navigate yourself, and actually as soon as you start, roll a sortilege die as well, not spending one, you get a free one because the spell gives you one. Because you're using magic.
That's a 0
Oh,
on the
that's a
sortilege.
flux.
Oh, crud.
Oh,
And it was an 8 on this one, but I accidentally nudged it over.
Okay, lovely. All right, so you succeed beautifully. Also, you fail beautifully. Or something interesting happens. Cool.
Huh.
So you're scanning through and you're seeing that this house is, this whole building is folded in on itself in many strange ways. So you're following one wall and the perspective shifts and you're suddenly, you're trying to look down a hallway, but as you move, it's just all...
It's a real tragedy of architecture in here, Calvin, I gotta tell you. Whoever designed this just does not have any eye for aesthetics whatsoever.
And he doesn't clean in there either.
Oh, I can see. It's real bad. Oh, it's so disorganized. Why? What?
No, are you seeing the chopped up angels and demons?
I am, but really, like the most flabbergasting and perturbing thing to me is just the layout of this is so inefficient and bizarre.
That is fascinating.
It's like living in a maze.
You are a fascinating person, Wayne.
But not even like a maze that's designed to do something. It's just willy-nilly, like a
really
bunch of
is.
kids just sewed a quilt together without any pre-planning of any. Oh, it's just getting worse. It's getting worse the deeper I go.
In the shadow, were you ever diagnosed with obsessive compulsive disorder, Wayne?
No, I don't go to shrinks.
the most Wayne answer.
How nice for you.
Oh, God. So it is exactly that deep, bone-deep disgust with this place that causes your magic to slip.
Whoops.
So we have a flux from Ali Grauer. Living creatures in your near proximity sprout extravagant, lush, tropical bird feathers of varying bright colors and patterns on random parts of their bodies.
Fan-made content for the game is magic.
Birds. Non-stop birds. We should have called it a bird with hollow eyes.
Called it a bird with hollow eyes. So,
I kind of feel like...
okay, we have another... I think this has to be the flux that happens.
So I'm sprouting feathers.
Or, no, it's creatures near you, so I think it's
So
me.
it's just you.
Yeah.
Oh, so I would just assume this is you doing this.
Yeah. This can't even be your fault.
Calvin, this really isn't the time or place to bird out.
A bird with hollow bones.
With hollow
Dang, can I
bones.
give you bits?
Yes. Dang, Punquility, you're on
Thank
point. I think in Calvin's wild hair, these sort of colorful, metallic, sort of shiny, colorful feathers start popping in. And Calvin just sort of plucks one out and looks at it he looks at it like curiously.
Huh.
It's at that point, so you're still looking through, you're seeing the similar things from what Calvin saw before, right? These strange rooms, these sort of rooms that look like they've been kind of partied in and people passed out in and just crashed there. They're sort of disheveled, but there's no people there. There's only sort of like clothes and purses and, like umbrellas and things. And then there's, of course, the horrible kitchen rooms with the stock still angels and demons and the horrible meat grinder and the organ music. But you sort of get, with that flux, the surprise of the feathers, you get jolted out, and you hear behind you Daniel McPherson.
Oh.
May I help you boys?
Is he just getting out of the cab?
He is just getting out of the cab.
Is this...
You see it slowly driving away with a hollow woman with her whole back opened up inside.
Is this him?
Dan, I'd like you to meet Wayne. Wayne, this is Dan.
What a
there.
pleasure to meet you.
I shake with my gloved hand, so I insist on this.
Okay. I'm afraid we're not open for business right now, but is there something you need?
Yes. I would like to register a complaint.
The feathers. We haven't had that problem before. Did this happen?
Actually, not about the feathers, Dan. I have been noticing some side effects recently.
He opens a jacket and he's got a little metallic container and he pops it open and it's got a number of pills for you. You've been having health problems, haven't you, Calvin?
So Calvin, if he could feel fear, would be terrified at this moment. But right now, he's just very curious.
I put my hand over the container. Daniel, Mr. McPherson.
Doctor, please.
Oh, pardon me. Dr. McPherson. I am Wayne, a maker of the second level. I was hoping to negotiate with you on my friend's behalf regarding the terms of his rental agreement. It seems maybe he signed without being fully aware of what the language entailed.
Well, the language was very simple. I work very hard to make sure that all of my contracts are very straightforward, easy to understand. I don't know how he could
Well,
have
not to
understood.
disagree with you there, Dan, but
Calvin.
something being simple does not make it straightforward. In fact, as has been pointed out to me, something being simple means that it can be interpreted any number of ways.
Daniel looks surprised when his sort of shutdown doesn't work on you because your fear is away.
Yes.
So he looks a little, just ever so slightly boggled by that. Well, if that's how you feel, of course, things are up to negotiation. We could take this up with the local government or however we need to do it.
Well, see, I've learned some other things, actually,
have
that I
you?
thought of upstairs while I was thinking through this lease, and I realized that while it does say I live there, it doesn't say I can't do this. And Calvin is going to destroy this building as much as he can
Oh boy.
right now, very casually.
Okay, great.
Oh boy.
So I think sort of gracefully and casually around one finger, he's swirling some thunder. And in another finger, another finger is going to grab hold of some freedom. And I think that is, there's some graffiti on the wall, and he just sort of pulls the freedom out of the graffiti, and it's that punk rock chaos that is in the heart of graffiti. He takes that and he infuses it with the thunder, and I feel like there is this incredibly loud sort of punk rock scream, the type of wailing that you hear like in Be Your Own Pet, the lead singer Be Your Own Pet, just like echoing out from his hands, and is just going to shatter the windows and whatever a level 6 spell will get me. And I will be spending 3 sorcery points, as I am able to do that because of my secret.
Nicely
boy.
done.
We also have 200 bits to Calvin 2 from Rourke.
Oh, wow.
Woo!
That's great. So that's for
That's for lowering the difficulty, I believe, of
lowering the
this.
difficulty. Lovely.
So
well, that's a very good time because we just played the Jackal, a nemesis card,
Oh.
a 0, basically one of the worst cards that could pop up. So I think that is going to affect your magic, and it's going to lower your...
So we do have a jackal sort of affecting my magic, and hey, let's take a look at this bad boy. Darcy, I'm also going to need a D10 when you get the chance.
Got it.
Is there any way for me to stop this from happening?
You've got all sorts of stuff you could do. What are you going to do?
I have only one surefire trick up my sleeve,
Oh,
but
no.
it's a little extreme.
What is that?
I love this.
Seeing you start to conjure, I would like to use my Cruciform of Death on Calvin.
What does that do?
Well, pal, it kills you,
Oh my god.
and then I would excuse myself from Daniel and drag him back up to his apartment because he lives there.
Okay, this is quite a plan. Let's take this step by
That
step.
is
But damn.
dope.
Okay, so the Jackal. Meanings: intimidation, power, ruthlessness, dark magic, necromancy. Wow, that's so perfect.
Wow, wow, wow.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's see how destroyed you make this.
Yeah, let's...
Should we see who acts faster though?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
is
how
there
this is
an
going to go.
initiative
system?
There's
Yeah.
a roll-off.
I think we're gonna kind of roll off, and you can spend Bene from your movement, which I believe is sort of speed.
I'm keeping this at pure roll, baby.
Yeah,
Okay.
1 to 1.
Okay, let's
Because
see
no
how it
matter
goes.
what the outcome is here,
It's
it's going to
gonna
be
be dope.
incredible.
Terrifying.
I got a 4.
I got a 3.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, I'm gonna mess this
So-
place up.
Well, let's see how well you mess it up. So,
I am
so ready for
using
this.
my sortilege die that I got from.
and are you spending any? You can also spend.
I spent
spent
3
3, right?
sorcery. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So-
think you can actually spend another sorcery if you'd like to bump it up another level, and you can spend hidden knowledge, which you have boatloads of, because for some reason Calvin's been like reading everything he can. So hidden knowledge is another pool that you basically like. I learned a fact once from some rando place, and you tell me where you learned that
Oh.
weird tip that lets you add one to this.
I didn't know that I had any hidden knowledge, but
Wait a minute.
Oh no! What's
With
happening?
my bump up, we match.
Oh no! They bumped it up.
Well, it looks like that is for the roll after this to kill Calvin.
Oh, I see.
That's
Okay.
great. Okay. All right. Let's see how this goes.
okay. So
you're
I can
adding-
I can bump it up to like a level 7 if I spend a sorcery point. Is what I'm hearing.
Yes.
Yeah, I want this to be as. I want
Cool.
to take this as far as a character can possibly take this.
All right. And
Oh, boy.
so I'm going to tell you the difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
It's not nice. It's going to be 11. Okay.
Okay.
We're
But
gonna.
you don't need to succeed twice, and you have 7. Casting that spell also
Mm-hmm.
adds to your adventure, so you're bringing it down a whole bunch. So you still
Okay.
want to get 4 higher.
Oh,
Oh no!
terrible
make it.
Please
roll.
no.
Is one of those
two
a flux?
ones.
2 1s. Well, they gave you an 11.
Yeah.
Dang. Okay, so tell me how this goes wrong, right? So you're starting to summon. It's basically that the wards on the house are stronger, or that maybe the fear, as you're not concentrating on keeping that fear there.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that might be a
I
way
think
that
that's
you lose
probably it. I feel like I
Okay.
am sort of. There is a daring flourish as
Yes.
I'm weaving this together, and I look over into McPherson's eyes, meeting his stony gaze, and there is some remnant of that daring adventurer that we saw from long ago staring back at him defiantly and
Yeah.
angrily as tremendous force begins to slowly, it is loud, it is this loud screaming riff that is tearing up the sidewalk around it, annihilating it. And as I'm doing that, I let the thread that I was holding to bind my fear away go, and I think tearing from Wayne's pocket is this creature that like I look over at it as it's coming to me. It takes a bite into my chest,
yeah.
and I think we see it thrash and sort of shrivel and shrink into me. And as that goes into me, I sort of look over to Daniel McPherson, now eyes full of sheer
yeah.
terror, and I drop the spell, and I feel like it dissipates so that, not so there's no destruction, but I destroy the streets around me.
Yeah.
I've just tear up the roads.
Cool. You
and
are
the
starting
sidewalks.
to tear up the roads and
Okay.
sidewalks.
Well, I think actually with that I'm
And-
mid leap towards you to press this cruciform into your body, and the eel erupts and sends it
nicely done.
spiraling out of my hands and clink clink like clattering down the street. So I'll probably have to go get that in a couple of seconds. But I think I just stumble out of the way and it totally ruins my thing.
So you're not going to try to kill him? Or
I think that
that's what
slowed
stopped
you. That's the reason that I wasn't able
Cool.
to do it.
The new Sooth card that was drawn is the Conspirator. It's a defender, and it's +2, but it is it's +2 of only you, because
Oh.
it's of your heart,
Oh, got it.
of secrets. So your next action is going to be super mega powerful. So you are in the midst of about to releasing the spell on the whole neighborhood.
Yeah.
Are you going to let him do that? Are you going to try to stop him? Or are you going to kill him?
I'm going to...
Daniel looks very pleased with himself.
I just watched the eel happen, and it looks like that has stopped you. So I'm going to step literally right in front of Calvin to put my body between the two of them and say, well, Dan.
Also take an anguish.
Daniel, as you can see, there are
inside.
some peculiar side effects to this version of your agreement. It seems that our friend Calvin here is more apt to make mistakes in order to preserve what little he has left than whatever you were hoping to get out of this in the first place. So maybe it's time we just add a few extra clauses onto that piece of paper. I'm sure you don't want to see this happen again.
Our dear friend here nearly blew up the entire street. We could get more sound holes that way. You know the sound hole problem. We don't know what causes it.
It's possible. And
what I'm trying to say to you is that there are much worse things than could happen in this town than Calvin here messing up my house.
Are you sure, Dan? Because I just took a look
Daniel, please.
in your house.
It's lovely, isn't it?
It seems like you put a lot of meticulous effort into its construction. And I'd be confused and surprised if the threat of a ticking time bomb living directly over your head didn't worry you at all.
I find it very charming, actually. I like a little spunk in my tenants.
Huh. Long story short, I need this guy. And I need him to be able to live for more than an hour at a time outside of his house. Is there a way we could extend the duration he could stay away?
Well, he brought that on himself, of course. He used to be able to travel freely. It was his attempt to weasel out of it entirely that brought its
Excuse me?
gas.
That's not correct at all. That's not correct at all.
I don't make the rules. It's go look at the lease.
Daniel, is there anything that is of more value to you than just having this poor guy who doesn't know much about magic at your beck and call upstairs from you? Maybe there's something we can trade that would make a revision to this agreement a little more attractive.
Interesting. And what would you have to offer me, maker of the second tier?
I don't know. But I am planning a little business trip to the Blue Sun.
Oh.
And if there's something there that is of value to you, I could bring it back when we return.
No. If we're going to be making any changes to the agreement, I need at least some collateral to ensure that you will be bringing me back something of equal or greater value to me.
Well, sure. I live here too.
No, Wayne, what are you talking about?
Well, you already trashed my house, so the least you could do is put me up.
Where is the lease?
The lease is, I
Crumpled
feel like,
up in your
always
back
in my back pocket.
pocket?
Yeah.
So I think it squirms out of your pocket, or do you pull it out?
I kind of like that it just like
think
sort of
it
comes out
squirms.
on its own, and like all the wrinkles sort of go out of it.
Smooth.
Yeah.
Excellent. So it says, is it you live here or you live here now? I forget.
You live here.
You live here. And it's signed with
Yep.
your name. And it sort of hovers in front of you.
I snatch it. Mm-hmm. And with a sick pit in my
Yeah.
stomach, I
Wait,
pull my
think
glove
about
off.
this. There are other things that we can do. Wait, I can try and kill this guy. I haven't even tried to.
Let's not. Daniel, if I can bring back something for you from the Blue Sun, we'll release all this, right?
We will certainly open up negotiations. You want, depending on the value of the thing you bring back. I will, he pulls out, he's got a little sort of pocket protector situation. He pulls out a pen, and it's got this beautiful metal hue, like blue metal hue to it. And it like shimmers a little bit. You know that it's something common that businessmen have, business folk, and it's sort of a little truth detector thing. And so he says, I swear to negotiate in good faith that if you're able to bring something of equal or greater value back from the blue to me, which I will help you determine, I am willing to negotiate. If you bring me something of equal or greater value, I will nullify the lease entirely. If you bring me something of lesser value, I will still negotiate in good faith. It sort of shimmers in a way that you recognize.
So I pull my glove off, and as I do, it kind of rolls up and becomes a fountain pen. As I pull my glove off, you notice, Calvin, that I'm missing half of my pinky finger, which wasn't so a couple of days ago.
Oh my God.
I just write the words, "So do I," under the sentence.
Great.
And then I let go of the contract
and
because I assume it floats
Oh
away.
yes, floats away.
And then I put my glove back on.
It sort of hovers in the air. Would you like to keep a copy of it, or? And he reaches out and touches it, and he sort of just pulls at it, and like a duplicate of it sort of pulls off.
Would love to.
He folds it up in a way that makes your, certainly not OCD, but makes your sensibilities very
Just like not even putting it where the edges are. You're just kind of like crumpling. You might as well have just crumpled it into a ball.
And he puts it away. What were you saying?
What? I was complaining about how you were folding. It's just, can I have the one you didn't mess up? Can I give you this one and have the one you didn't mess up?
This is mine now. Thank you for your time.
I'm just like kind of trying to uncrease it.
I will send you a letter giving you advice for things that would be useful to me if it were you to find from the blue.
That
in
would
about
be
a week or
great.
so.
A week. We were planning on going sooner than that.
Well, a week is the best I could do.
Why were you keeping me in the shadow?
Now that's a conversation we'll have to have another time, Calvin.
Calvin, sort of tear rolling down his cheek, stomps back up to his apartment, kicking spoons across the floor and slamming the door shut behind him.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations, Daniel. You made an extra enemy today. And I walk up the stairs after Calvin.
Daniel looks nonplussed and sort of starts unlocking the door to the sausage shop. All right. I feel like that might be a scene.
That's a scene,
that's a
baby!
Damn, that's a scene. Oh, wait. And halfway up the
Yeah.
stairs, I wait until Daniel goes into his house, and then I go, fuck. And I run back down the stairs and pick up my cruciform off the street, and then
Oh, no.
yeah.
And did your magic go off, or were you able to stop it?
I didn't do anything. The
So-
evil-
I think that
It just
street
wrecked
is
that street.
messed
Okay,
up.
cool.
Yeah.
There's sort of tall humanoids sort of hovering and coming to check out the damage, but you guys flee into your apartment and
Yeah,
assume.
it looks like a. I don't know if you guys have ever seen like Halstead after the Pride Parade, because it's just
no.
like I wound
Yeah.
up like a bunch of like anarchy, and I just threw
Yeah.
anarchy in the shape of this tornado tunnel down the street. So it is wrecked.
Wow, that's great. There are animals running around. There are
Like all the lamp posts are pushed over.
Sideways.
The street is like I think it's as if it had been left for 100 years without anybody tending to it
Yeah.
carefully. So it's full of potholes now and just completely messed
oh
up.
man, Liberlight is gonna have opinions about that.
Yeah,
This turf.
he
That's gonna be very
certainly
sad.
is going to be very upset with that.
All right, when you get back
I have to write a note down about what the hell we
about how you almost murdered your friend.
Well, no, that's
Yes.
that's not even the worst thing.
That, yeah,
Okay.
that would have been
That's,
preferable.
I wish I had murdered you and taken you back upstairs instead. Woof.
All right. So, at some point, you go to look for Kitty, and this might be a couple days later. It might be whatever. But oh no, that's not what it is. Haha, I remember. So you get a message from Kitty, like a
Oh.
letter, brought by someone from the bar who sort of got off shift and lives near your neighborhood. Who is the person from the bar who brings by the message?
Ooh, person from the bar brings
We've
by.
already established Marimba, the lovely skeleton.
Gotta be
person there.
Marimba.
Marimba's
my
great.
buddy.
So Marimba is looking exhausted, but knocks on the Wenosphere's door.
The Wenosphere store?
Wenosphere's door?
I don't live
Oh.
there anymore.
Great.
I wish I did.
We all wish we did.
So I
This letter may never
like,
get delivered then.
from Calvin's house, I like feel that someone is
Yeah.
at the Wenosphere, and I pull the peephole out of my pocket,
Yep.
and I look through it to see who's at the door.
Great. It's Marimba who's looking at their watch and has got this really nice wax sealed letter that's got Kitty's sort of house stamp in it. And Marimba is sort of flapping the letter and looking tired and looking in the windows. And there's that cat sort of still watching your house.
Well, nothing I can do about that.
All right.
So I put, I just.
All right.
put
What
the
are you
thing
guys
back in my
doing then?
pocket.
So you have a couple. You have some time
Yeah,
to
I
plot
think-
your plans.
The first thing I'm gonna do, I think, by this point, even by mere minutes or hours after our
Yeah.
encounter with Daniel McPherson, said, I have built a new pant leg for my right side out of the silver spoons.
Uh-huh.
So because that's the only material I have on hand.
It's true.
And so my right pant leg, my left pant leg, and like the groin and like waist are all normal pant. And then the right pant leg, like right around where the end of my pocket is, looks like it's also material, like fabric-y, but it's just silver that I've converted to like
Yeah.
a weavable thread and
Lovely.
have made new pants out of that. That's my first order of business.
Okay.
Because I don't, yeah.
And Calvin, how are you doing? What are you up to?
So Calvin has been resuming, like, after the panic attacks died down, after the crying stopped, and like the directionless sort of fearful rage, rather than try and pull fear from himself again, because that is what got him in this situation in the first place. He's trying to live with it. And the fact that Wayne is here makes it easier for him to recover this time.
Definitely.
So I think Calvin, despite being full of fear and anxiety, sort of resumes what he was doing before, which is just trying to test the limits of his power and figure out exactly what he is capable of.
Cool.
I think like the few items that he has picked up are things that, like, when he was trying to summon a spoon, it just came out as not a spoon and came out as one of these objects, and he doesn't know how he does this.
Yeah.
He's confused, and like now he's got Wayne to bounce ideas off of, and I'm sure both of them are perplexed in their own way, but that's pretty much what he has been up to. Although I think on
You
one
still
of
have
his
those feathers. You're still lush, tropical.
Yep.
They last for several hours. That was explicit.
I think
On a random
are we
body
just
part.
hours from
It sounded like we didn't know what you were doing for just hours. So yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe we even, like, as the camera comes up on this moment or whatever, Wayne is like at a chair with like a notebook out, and I'm like, no, we did freedom and movement already. Do another pairing.
Okay.
Cool. Absolutely.
And I'm like, I've just been jotting down notes of like what each individual thread pairing does.
Lovely. Excellent. So what things are you trying to lead him toward doing specific things, or you're just trying to figure out what powers he has?
I think mostly the second one.
So we have training montage of you probably almost destroying this apartment, which has very little left to destroy.
I mean,
Presumably over time it
it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't say it's against the lease, so
great.
at this point, fuck him.
Excellent. And the silver like object thing, I'm sure you as a maker would also have lots of insight about. So I think you're probably able to create potentially other things if you tried to do that, or
Yeah. So you're pretty much working through that. But I feel like that's only like the first day or so.
right. So you start getting cabin fever. What are you have that journal, you know?
Yeah, I think Calvin is going to, one time while Wayne is asleep, Calvin insisted that he will stay up and just keep practicing. He goes over to one of the spoons that he put on the floor, and he sort of like stares at it, waiting, like kind of flicks it, and with the flick, it turns into the bird. And quickly he grabs it, and he starts weaving a very careful spell. I want to weave, let's see, distance from freedom, and I want speech from wind, and I'm going to weave a little collar for this bird, and I'm going to send a message, use it to send a message to, like messenger pigeon style, to this person that we learned about in the book that Wayne picked up from the library.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Vittoria Ju.
Vittoria Ju. So he weaves this like little collar, and I think what it ends up being is sort of, it looks a little bit like a gramophone. It's got like this sort of like silvery steampunk gramophone collar on this fat little silver songbird, and it can fly, just not very good. And he goes over to the front door and tosses it out and closes the door quietly, and looks over to Wayne, who is asleep, guiltily.
So you make this message. I'm gonna have you make a roll to sort of send it to the right place. So do you want to spend any sortilege or
So
And this is-
I think it's like a level 3
To send a
right?
message to
to send a message to somebody.
that makes sense. It's actually going to be harder for reasons you don't know why, but I do.
Ooh.
But you have a +1 on it. Thanks
Cool.
to Rourke.
Thank you, Rourke. This is very helpful. Yes. So
I don't know how many rolls I'll get. But
it's going to be. Can I see that real quick?
Yeah. Sorry,
Just
I
so I
don't
don't-
need it anymore.
No, it's okay.
the difficulty of it.
Okay, it's a 5.
Okay, it's just a 5.
Yep.
So I've got lower than
And
50% chance.
T-Bell is right. Calvin can't do anything subtle or sneaky.
Oh,
or
that's
can
right.
You?
No,
Or
I
is that what
can.
you're
Freedom
waiting to do?
freedom would allow me to
okay.
do that. So that's one of the best things about having freedom is I can't do anything that is stone-based or defense with wind or about imprisonment and despair and structure, but I can definitely do things subtly because I'm using wind and freedom, which does not necessitate anything loud
Cool.
and cacophonous. I will spend a sortilege point.
Cool. So your venture is. Oh, you need another one of these. Okay.
Yes,
So
I
you're
need-
spending the sortilege. Are you gonna spend any bene or no?
I'm no bene for
Okay.
now.
But you have 1 to your venture from Orc.
And I rolled an 8, so that should
Wow.
be it.
An 8 and.
An 8 and this was a 2 before.
Okay, not a flux.
Not a flux.
Super cool. So as you send the bird off into the night, you see how much do you know about the Path of Suns at this point?
Nothing.
Nothing still.
Nothing.
Okay.
Though I am learning about it now.
Okay, cool. Then you see the bird, the beautiful silver bird, shift and morph into this golden, sort of like long, slinky dragon thing, which is lovely. The phonogram thing is still up top. And then you see it, whole chunks of it burst into flame, and a leg falls off, and it's starting to decay. And then you see it finally look like it is on death's door. This dragon thing is sort of fallen to the ground and is shuddering with sort of death throes, and then is gone. So,
I feel like I made the roll, though. Damn it. Damn it. What's wrong?
Huh?
your muttering may have gotten to Wayne over there.
Calvin is going to retreat back into the apartment. Okay. If I can't send a message, I just have to go myself.
The next card is the Devil, another Nemesis card.
And that's Kitty's card.
Yes, it is Kitty's card. Lovely.
Oh man, we are really racking them up on these.
Are you gonna
Sith
go-
deck cards?
Off by yourself, or what's your plan here?
I'm going to go by myself. And
You explicitly feel pulled in a direction. I think since Kitty's card got pulled, you're getting
getting pulled. Okay.
pulled a little bit.
Yeah. It's like, I've got to go talk to this person. Calvin, at this point, feels very guilty about getting Wayne stuck in this predicament. So he is going to take matters into his own hand and try to do something nice for Wayne and follow follow this thread. So he leaves, and I think sort of instinctually he's going to go towards where he's being pulled.
Excellent. And you also know, so Vittoria Zhu used to live in this neighborhood. But if you've maybe, I don't know, have you looked up the address before? Or are you going to try to find her, or are you feel a pull and you're going to follow that?
I go out.
You're like, I'm going to find her.
I mean,
How?
I read this journal, so maybe I'm just going to go to the last place that she would have been in the journal, and I'll just ask whomever is there.
Cool. So it's the middle of the night.
The street is still chaos.
The street is still chaos. It's autumn, so not only is there chaos everywhere, but there's sort of fallen leaves, and so there's just detritus of all sorts of natures everywhere.
I think the birds that the
We
larger
should probably
birds
give Wayne a
that-
chance to find out that you left.
Yes, I think. Well, he can wake up right after. I do want to point out that the cassowary that my previous
cassowary's
coat was
still there?
is still around. Well, now I think they're sort of drawn to the anarchic chaos.
Oh,
like
yeah.
all of the birds that I created are now just sort of patrolling this area and harassing passersby as they go.
Awesome.
As I just sort of stalk down the street.
Excellent. Is it like the middle of the night, or is it sort of like early evening? What do you think it is?
When do you think you go to sleep, Wayne?
It probably takes a while.
This is late.
Okay,
This
so it's
is-
super late.
Yeah.
Okay. There are still a couple like little. You kind of live in a happening area where there's a lot of like shops and like cafes. So there's some stuff that's open really late, but it's rare. Mostly it's just total chaos. So you try to quietly sneak out the door. Why don't we roll off real quick to see if you detect?
Can I opt to fail?
Yeah, totally. You
Yeah.
don't have to. Oh, never mind then.
I'm sleeping.
You're sleeping. You've worked
sleeping.
hard all day. Okay, so you're getting pulled in this direction. You're walking down these beautiful, these once beautiful cobblestone roads, and you're getting pulled further and further. And you notice that the road you're walking along, you take one step, and all the sound of these anarchic birds and rustling of leaves suddenly stops. You're in the sound hole again. Are you going to try to go around or go through? You push on through the sound hole. It's eerily quiet. It's really unnerving, right? Some of your weaving, it feels like your magic might even be wrong in here. It's a very uncomfortable feeling place. So you continue on. Let's see. Gosh, this game is magic. I'm gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it. Compelling voice. You're following a compelling voice. Is the card I drew. You're sort of still drawn. That pull you feel is getting stronger and stronger until you find yourself in front of Kitty's bar, which you've been at before. So you had gotten through the sound hole, and then it was actually not too far to Kitty's bar, and you see that there's there's lights still on in there. There's the sound of the late night crowd sort of quietly having a good time, and sounds of surreal, strange gaming machines going off and dice being rolled. They're freaking out about me declaring it magic. So once it's Kitty's bar, what are you doing? Are you just gonna keep following it until you get to the spot?
Yeah, I think, like there's a moment where I pause outside and then push open the door and go in.
Excellent. You push open the door and get in, and there is Moxie wiping down the bar, and there's Marimba and a couple other people that you've seen around hanging out and working. The angel that had been here when I think you'd probably seen before, that used to sit in the corner, is not there, and whether that's because, for whatever reason. And there is a notebook and some like charcoal sitting in Kitty's kind of usual spot at the bar, but no Kitty. But you were drawn to that stool.
So Calvin is going to walk over and sit down.
Okay.
I'll
Moxie.
slip this to you while this is going on.
Great. Awesome. Want to be Moxie for me?
Yep.
Let me tell you how to be Moxie. Be Moxie.
Hey there, pal. What can I get for you?
I don't know. Something. God, actually, Calvin reaches into his pocket. I do have some orbs, right?
I don't think Librelight would let you wander the city without any orbs.
Yeah. What does 2 orbs get you?
2 orbs? What for frame of reference.
Oh,
What is 2
why
orbs?
don't I give you a whole menu?
Ooh!
I'm sorry.
Even better.
Here you go. You're not going to like the answer to that. I would say divide. This is a fancy menu, so divide everything by 10.
Divide
He's
everything
still
by
not.
10.
He
Okay,
still
great.
may not be able to afford anything.
You put 2 orbs on the bar, and Moxie's googly eyes like settle, like looking at it, and then they like bounce around back up to you. And Moxie says, "For 2 orbs, coming right up," and leans down and like flaps a napkin and just sets it on the table.
Well, all right then.
Just the napkin?
Yeah.
He slides those orbs across the table.
In the puppet
He
body.
eats them? Of course he does. Oh no.
I'm sorry. We haven't met. I'm Calvin.
Ah, hey, Moxie. And it's like on a stick.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. So he shakes the arm. Tell me, have you ever met anyone named Victoria Zhu?
Victoria Jew. Probably I have. A lot of people coming in and out of here.
Why don't you make a roll to sort of describe her,
Yeah.
give him more information?
So I got a 4.
Are you trained in anything relevant? You have skills?
Oh yeah, my skills. Let's see. Nope.
Definitely no. Okay, that's fine. So with a 4, you describe what you know about her from the journal, right? Oh,
She's
this-
definitely a Cancer.
Excellent. She's a traveling librarian. She's been to all these different worlds. She had some interesting, strange experiences. She's from this neighborhood, and she had memories that were missing, so she went to the blue. But there's some other details of like that were on the back cover, right? Of like
About the
a
author
member,
section.
a member of the Order of Honed Thought. So there's some like kind of associations that you can drop. Moxie definitely knows that order, but doesn't know Victoria Zhu specifically.
Not familiar with the name.
All right, that's fine. Have you seen Kitty recently?
Oh, Kitty hasn't been around for about a week.
A week?
Yeah, she comes and goes. It's hard to keep her working, but ooh.
Yeah. Man, I wonder why I'm supposed to be here. You ever get the feeling that you have to be somewhere, Moxie?
Yeah, here, all the time.
Yeah.
Like, picks up a rag. Starts like,
I kind of feel like his body is like slumped onto the counter to reach like a far spot.
Yeah.
So his like whole body is just.
and like his head, like, mouth and head, like, open up, like, on the thing as he's doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Sure you don't want anything more?
I don't think I could afford anything more.
I mean, for 3 more orbs, I could get you a porridge.
Takes out 3 orbs. pops
You're
out
gonna
the
love this
table.
porridge. Glug, glug, glug. It's crazy! And he like goes boom, boom, like through these swinging doors into the kitchen area.
While you're sitting at the bar, there is kind of an off-track betting little view. It's sort of there's a little silver plate, and it's got a beautiful glass orb sitting above it, and so you have this kind of fisheye lens view of some feed from somewhere. And you see a couple of people watching very closely and sort of leaning in on it, and they're putting little orbs and sort of up, and they're having their own sort of little betting circle here, but it's clearly some sort of gambling thing. And you see sort of splashed up on the screen, you notice who will defeat this week's challenger, Kitty Hart, and it's got like a bad picture of Kitty on it, sort of taken with the flash too brightly, and it sort of seems to have some sort of strange, fantastical fighting ring. But it's just, you don't see Kitty, but you see the static image of her and some sort of announcer behind.
Whoa, 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 whoa! What's going on? What's going on here? I'm gonna go tap on the shoulder of, or what I think is a shoulder of one of the creatures.
Oh, excellent. So one of the creatures is, so you turn around and they have their hood up, but it's this vulpine human who's got like a deck of cards, and she you see this beautiful fox face, but snarling at you when you turn around.
Oh.
I'm watching the game.
I'm sorry, what is this?
Are you in or you out?
Sure, I'll put... I don't know how many orbs I have, but like, I spent 5, and I think I get 20 a week or something like that.
Do you have anything
Based
on you,
my
like a pretty...
mendicant?
You get 20 a week?
I'm a mendicant, so
That's
that's what I get.
Hilarious.
Yeah, it's very bad. Do you have anything like on you that looks like valuable that you might... they might say?
Literally nothing. I could bet this poison that I have that I don't know is a poison.
Do you want to do it?
Yeah.
You have something?
Sure, I'll take my orbs and
non-spoon.
I pulled this out of my hand.
Awesome. This person says, like, their eyes go very wide and surprised, and they sort of get this beautiful fox smile, right, with some of their compatriots who otherwise look vaguely humanoid, and sort of are mostly focusing on the game. And she says, "Well, that'll do. That'll do for this match. You can keep your orbs. This will be fine for a first timer."
Great, sure.
She says, "I'm Kitsune."
Nice to meet you. My name is Calvin.
Yeah, that's enough. This is a character NPC from Techno Dude TX, which is great. And so, yeah, what do you want to know? Who are you putting this on? Which
Kitty
challenger? She's a favorite this week, but I think her time's about up. She's been in there a long time. Most don't last that long.
I think she'll surprise you.
So as you're watching, the feed sort of zooms in on today's match, and so what you see initially is this strange white filamentous like covered room. It looks kind of like the underside of mushrooms, right? You've got that like filamentous stuff, and so it's covering this stone room, and it's got this dais sort of thing that's all also made out of sort of white fungusy things, and there's a bunch of passed out people and humanoids and Vizsla, and it looks like there's some Elderbrin, and there's definitely a Lacuna, those people that are just gaps in reality, just holes in space, but they're all like passed out on the ground. They've got sort of moldy growths covering over them, and you see they zoom in on Kitty, and Kitty has more growth than anyone else currently on the dais, and she's actually mostly covered. You get a bit of the left side of her face, but a lot of her body is just being submerged by this thing. And she says, "Well, I hope your girl does well." So as they fade away from that view of everyone like unconscious on this thing, they zoom into what looks like some other world where Kitty is summoning this incredible. She looks like she's geared up for battle, and she's summoned this incredible, very, very tall demon with all sorts of oozy, amorphous growths coming out of it. And she's sending that demon in against some other combatant who looks like this Vizsla who's turned half of his body into this giant rock person, but can't quite get the spell to cover the rest of him, and that this guy gets annihilated by her demon. Yes. So they're fighting. A bunch of fighting happens, and you overhear people sort of talking about techniques and strategies, and you get the sense that this is the Lotus Lantern, and so as you're watching, you kind of get the deal. It's a lighthouse like fight ring illegal gambling den thing that moves around from neighborhood to neighborhood in Saturnine to keep away from the thaw and the feds, right?
Gotcha.
So Kitty is definitely there wherever that is.
Well, as soon as someone thinks smart and starts going for her instead of the demon, it's all over. She's got nothing to defend herself on a physical level.
Yeah, but they have to get past the demon first.
Well, there's ways to get around that. We've seen other competitors smarter than this. As soon as she runs into someone who isn't some kind of muscle-headed beefcake, it's going to be a different kind of game.
Well, I think she'll have prepared for that.
I think her real trouble is that she seems to have teamed up with that Astrid Swent, the lovely Astrid Swent is one combatant. She's sort of fey-like. She looks kind of like a peony flower, and she's seems to be working some kind of elaborate plant magic. And Kitty and her seem to have had some kind of understanding, and that is an NPC submitted by
Mel Fox.
By Mel, of course. Yay.
And we got a sub, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah.
Who gets a sortilege?
I haven't been rolling well, so it might be a waste if you give it to me.
It's true. Okay, so you just learned a lot. What is Wayne just sound asleep? Are you going to sleep the whole night? Or
I think somewhere around 7 a.m.
Okay.
Wayne wakes up and assumes that Calvin will be back at some point and starts making breakfast.
Cool.
Which in a stranger's kitchen is a really slow process for him.
Yes.
So it's like roughly an hour and 45 minutes of prep time of like finding bowls that all match the same size and like pre-preparing all of that.
He's getting
I get it. Oh, hooray.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
Yay.
I will take it. I might use it to make breakfast. Yeah, so like carefully pre-prepping. I forget what the term is for that, where you prep all your ingredients before you even start like heating the pan.
responsible.
Yes, but there's like a French term for it, like a culinary
cool.
term for that. But yeah, so like making sure everything's like
Just
chopped
so.
to the right amounts and like in respective like holding things.
Yeah.
And maybe waits for a few seconds and like looks at the door and then is like, well, I'm hungry, so and then starts making like an omelet.
Excellent.
But then after that, I think I have a thing I want to make.
Okay, yeah.
So
Are we going to show the Maker's Matrix on
it's time
screen?
to show the Maker's Matrix.
It's time to show how you make stuff. Yay. Okay, do you have the sheet?
I do, and I know I've done some of the math while we were
Nice.
doing other things. So the first, because I want it to be permanent.
Yes.
So I
it's gonna be
basically
expensive.
need to roll in order a 1, a 2, and then a 3, and then a 4 after like adjusting for like my skills and stuff.
Okay, perfect.
So
All right, so Wayne is a maker. Wayne can make really cool stuff, but it's this flow chart of like basically refining and adding more complex magic as you go. And so there's a higher and higher chance of failure as you go up. And like the last step, if you fail it, something really bad happens. So I would say if you've been holding on to any bits for that last step, that could be, and that sortilege, you can't use sortilege for this though.
right,
Brutal, okay.
yeah.
All
But
right,
I can try to pump some beignets in there.
yes, you can.
Or did we house rule that?
I think you
sortilege
can
was
use
okay?
sortilege for this because we're using it a lot, and so I think
Great.
you can use sortilege for this.
I'm
but it's just
gonna-
very expensive, right? Because you have to use a new sortilege every step if
Right.
you want.
I'm gonna hold because if I can't roll a 1 right away, then I mean, come on.
It's true.
Right,
It's true.
guys.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Here we go.
I mean, I'm hoping for that
So that's a 9.
flux.
Oh, beautiful.
Feels good. And the
So
first
with
step
this-
of this.
Okay, so you didn't spend any sortilege the first
Nope.
time. Okay.
So for the first level of this crafting, without quite giving away, hooray! Thank you,
Nice.
Names Equip.
Thank you.
Without giving away what I'm making
And
just
Coalwood.
yet,
Yeah.
I will say that I am using some residual spoons, and I'm
Yeah.
crafting this thing out of its base skeletal structure. We'll say out of silver.
It's hollow bones.
Right. And for the next step, I am adding
Nice.
a glass lens
Ooh.
that will serve as an eye. It's an eyeball. And that's a 7, so
Okay.
that's golden. Oh boy.
I figure we'll like keep the +1s to the venture for like the higher rolls.
Yeah,
so-
I'll use one here.
Okay.
And I'll drop a bene on
So
this one
this
too.
should have been a 3, right? Or
This should be a 3, but now it's a 2.
perfect.
And is
If
it
you-
sorcery or intellect?
Intellect.
Intellect. I'll drop an intellect bene on it to make it a 1,
Nice.
which is great
Which
because I
is-
rolled a 4.
Good.
And I'll do the same for this next one, so I need a 2 or higher, right?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Oh crud! It's a 1.
Oh man.
Okay.
Oh man.
So
Is it the last step too?
I haven't added a power source yet. No.
Didn't he?
Oh, you're right.
So-
But
Okay.
it was at a 2, but he spent the bene, so didn't that lower it to?
This challenge
a
rating when it
4.
was supposed to be a 4.
So I dropped it to 2. So now I have to add a
No.
stabilizer.
Okay, it's okay. You're just gonna get a quirk.
Right.
Which is fine.
This thing might have a quirk, which would actually be hilarious.
Okay, so now you're gonna go to
I
that.
need a 4 again.
Okay. Do you want to spend sortilege, which is
Nah.
another die? Okay.
All right, it is a... Well, actually, it says... for adding a catalyst, the maker's matrix says x plus 1 as the level. So is it still a 4 or does it pop up to 5? I think it's still, because it's...
We're good at this,
level.
guys.
No, I think it is still 4 based on what I'm...
Okay.
Great.
I think it's a 4 because it's really not
I'm
higher
still,
than the
like,
level
trying-
until
right.
later.
So it gets a minor side effect.
Okay, awesome. I'll pull up the side effects list.
And this,
Although we can think of a cool one, I'm sure.
this I believe will now be the final roll.
Okay,
So
now
I'm going to
this is-
sortilege this.
And this is when I think you still have 2.
I have 1 that
have
was
1
given
left.
to me.
There were 3 at one time.
Oh, there were 3? So I'm going to
so
use
you
them
have-
both.
Okay, great.
And I'm going to also use an item I made, my caffeine inhaler,
Oh my
to give a
goodness.
+1 to this venture
Oh,
as well.
sweet. Yes. You
So
made a...
as I like,
You made a vape?
I
You made one of
officially-
those caffeine vapes?
yeah, basically. So
Definitely.
as I like shift into like the final, like adding a power source, which is the trickiest part, I quickly reach into my back pocket. I'm like pretty tired. I just ate a big omelet. And
Did you eat 2 or did you just eat the 1?
I made 2, and if Calvin doesn't come back like pretty soon, I'm probably gonna eat the second one.
Okay.
Because if you let it get cold, like all the proteins denature, it's not gonna be as good. It doesn't microwave right, so
That's
like
true.
it's not fair to leave it out. So I'm gonna spend a sortilege and like do all kinds of whammy wacky nonsense on this.
Okay.
So I believe I need a 2 or higher.
Okay.
Is this a 5? Or so I need a 3
Yeah.
or higher. Because I'm using 2
From
ventures
them.
from you guys. So thank you for this.
Great.
Shazam! And I don't have my glasses on, so it is.
I think that's a 0.
That is they're both zeros.
No.
They are double zeros.
Okay.
What is
Or no,
with
wait.
the-
This is. Wait.
That's just really
It's a
hard to
1.
see.
It's a 1 because it's a 10, but it's
Oh man,
all
this
the things
goes
that way.
this goes sideways. Okay.
crud.
Ah,
Okay.
brutal.
Jiminy Christmas.
Okay. This
It's so easy to fail these.
I know
Yeah,
it
wow.
is. Okay, we're gonna get you a flux real quick. So wait, so at that point, that wasn't the final step? That wasn't power source, right?
Well, actually, is it? Because after I failed, I add a catalyst. Once I add the catalyst, do I go back to the level I was at before?
I think so. I mean,
So actually what happens is I created an item with a random effect of level X.
okay. Oh, cool.
So it's a level 4
Okay.
item.
What random thing did he make?
Okay, so describe this item for
Full
me.
full disclosure,
What you were
it's
going
in the
for.
shape of a bird because I was
Okay.
going to make Calvin a mechanical bird friend.
Oh.
Because I promised him that I would replace the bird that I cut in half with a business card.
That's pretty great. Okay, so it
So-
was
So
supposed
here are
to
level
be
4 effects.
And I was imagining that it has like a silver body, and that the wings. Of course, I'm trying to improve upon the design of bird, because God forbid I just like
Do the
make a
thing.
bird as it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to improve on the mechanical design of bird. So its body is its wings, and
Ooh,
the
yeah.
wings like imagine like it's like basically a skeletal cage of silver, and then the wings are furled up inside, and then they unroll outward. Mm-hmm. So almost like you're pulling like a fruit, opening like a fruit by the foot or whatever. And its head is just like a conical metal head that ends in a lens, kind of like the end of Wayne's glasses.
Okay, so I think this thing can levitate. So like you're improving on birds by like this thing will be able to hover everywhere. It doesn't need to flap its wings, and you wanted it to be a bird friend. And it says here that it can have telepathy at close range. So
Oh,
I
God.
think this reads the minds of creatures that are close to it.
Ooh.
And prints out like relatable sayings.
Like on paper?
And yeah.
Which is, paper is one of the skills I
its
have.
mouth opens up and sort of like ticker tape comes out. And you tear it off and goes, I messed up making this bird.
That's great.
No, I didn't. This is exactly what I did.
Awesome. Now, also a flux happens.
Oh yeah,
So
dang
details. That's what we get. Levi Tompkins has a brutal one, so get ready for this.
All right.
One of your fears or desires manifests itself as either a small animal or a small but warped simulacrum of yourself.
What?
God, that's so
That's so
good.
horrifying. What?
Hey, eat that omelet.
I don't want it. It's for Calvin.
Nah, Calvin's not here.
I know Calvin's not here.
You worked really hard on that omelet.
Are you a tiny Wayne? Are you a
you-
tiny messed up Wayne?
Yeah, you look like you've got like
Spoon Wayne.
your arms are way too long, like for how small your body is, and you basically have no legs. You're just like a body on little feet, like a penguin. And the arms end in like spoon hand, like the hands are concave, like little spoon hands. And for no reason at all, because Wayne would never wear this, you're wearing like a stovepipe little hat, and you've got a cigar.
That's the
and
warped
like,
simulacrum, yeah.
You look like the best way I can describe this is you look like the manager of the Monstars from Space Jam.
Played, I think, by Danny DeVito.
That is perfect.
Yeah.
More information for you. It persists and keeps trying to get your attention and care until you can completely stop thinking about your fear/desire, which is awfully hard when it is.
It's still warm.
I don't even want it that bad.
Look at this.
Stop that.
He takes his spoon hand and he cuts part of the omelet.
That's
And,
not for
like,
you.
Beautiful steam escapes the omelet. Smell that.
I already ate one. It would
Love
be ridiculous.
And care went into that.
We cut back. That was beautiful.
Just sweating like I don't need it. I don't need it.
I'm full. I'll feel bad.
Do you know how hard it was to make with the kind of tools this guy has in his house?
That's very good. Okay, so you stayed up pretty late at the bar.
Yeah.
So you're keep putting it all on Kitty, and she's doing really, really well. But I'm gonna draw a card to see
How well she does.
how well or poorly. Oh, well, the assassin card.
Ooh, let's take a look at it.
Yeah, we definitely.
I think
And then
with this, it'll be able to go either way.
Ooh, what a
right?
creep.
Yeah, let's show that to the audience while I look it up.
Oh my goodness.
The assassin. Its meanings are finesse, stealth, betrayal, and finality. I think Kitty is like killing it. Kitty is just burning through all of her challengers, but she's doing this sort of back to back with Astrid. So
I'm telling you, the problem is no one's going straight for. I don't understand. It's like no one has any tactical wit. I'm losing so much money right now on these bets. It's unreal.
Hey, I'm very sorry about that.
You flip the table.
Perfect. Just as you're watching Kitty, and it's sort of like down to 2 or 3 contestants.
Sorry, chat's cracking me up.
Okay, chat's really good tonight. Thank you, guys.
Spoon Wayne.
Kitty is like, sends a dagger out of nowhere and sort of like pins the last contestant. And that's when Astrid, who has been all bubbly and like supportive and sort of growing all these plant growths to sort of like manage the field and less about like straight up murder. I'm thinking Astrid, sort of in this, she looks sort of up away, like in a direction you can't see on the little screen. And that's when she gets sort of a set face, and this is when Kitsune starts to get this smile and is rubbing her hands like this. So it seems to be you're backing Kitty and she's backing Astrid. And it's at that point that Kitty is betrayed. So how does Astrid get Kitty?
Kitty does the betraying.
Usually.
That's her brand.
I know.
How dare Astrid take her brand?
I think Kitty starts like on the screen. Like there's announcers like talking, like, "Wow, incredible, folks! Like we are here." Whatever, their version of that is. And as we just, like the camera zooms in, and it's like this grainy, like the screen flickers every so often.
Yeah.
And
it's a super illegal feed. Everything about this is illegal.
It's like
dicey.
a weird bad mirror stream that so they don't get caught or whatever.
Yeah.
And we can see over the announcers kind of chattering. We can see Kitty like commanding her summon her demon to go after Astrid. And the demon starts like it's like this ape-like thing, and it's like jump like running towards Astrid, and Astrid like draws a symbol in the air. It's like this perfect circle, and it looks like a goetic summoning circle. And as the demon like approaches it, the circle like snaps around it and binds it. And the ape like skids to a halt, spraying like dirt and sand all over the front row of this like stadium, and it just like stops like over Astrid, and she snaps her fingers, and the demon turns around and starts lumbering like at equal speed back towards Kitty.
Astrid is they, which I messed up, so sorry I did that wrong. But
My bad.
No, that was me. So cool. Astrid has this awesome power and reflects back that demon. And so just as you're watching in horror, as Kitty has her own demon coming at her, you get a little, let me see here, a little bird that you had sent off returns to you.
I thought it was to die.
Slightly changed. It is shadowy and gray now, and it still looks more like that dragony thing than the bird that you had initially created. But it has tied to its back that phonogram thing seems to be gone, and there is a stack of letters.
Ooh.
That are made of really, really nice paper. They've got these beautiful silver seals on them and sort of pale, pretty like ribbons tied on them. So Kitty seems to be, you're watching, and the sort of screen cuts out right as she's getting walloped by this demon, and Astrid seems to be, they flash back to Astrid, who has this triumphant smile.
Oh, that can't be good.
Taking that from you.
Fine. Whatever.
So what was the message you had sent out?
So...
To Vittoria Zhu.
Yeah, the message was, hi, Vittoria. You don't know me, but my name is Calvin, and I read one of your journals. And in it, you went to the Blue Sun to investigate a memory problem. And I think I've got a friend who's going through a similar kind of thing, and we're trying to get to the Blue Sun ourselves. So if you wouldn't mind contacting me back, I live by the sausage shop. The street is chaos right now. The birds are there. Just ask people where the birds are attacking people, and that's it.
Excellent. So you get this sort of stack of letters, and they're addressed to. There's one addressed to you. There's one addressed to Kitty, and there's one addressed to Wayne.
Oh.
I think before you can even open one, you hear from behind the bar. You hear, "Hey!" and Moxie like appears over behind it, like Sesame Street style, and clink puts down a big bowl of steamy porridge and is like, "Don't forget your porridge."
Thanks, Moxie.
And just like wipes away down the bar.
Oh man, delightful. So what do you open?
So Calvin gets a big spoonful of porridge, puts it in his mouth, and opens up the letter to him.
Does it taste good?
Good question.
'Cause how long have you been away?
I rolled a 0.
Well, there we go.
It is vile.
It is extremely bad. But Calvin, fear restored, is going to eat the whole thing out of politeness.
Oh no.
Because far be it from him to disappoint a Muppet.
Oh,
But so
God.
the question is then, does it actually taste bad, or does it taste bad because you've been away from home too long?
Right. Is this the effects of you being pulled back?
God. Probably.
Unclear.
There's like a goat. It's like a goat in like
Ooh.
like a fun leotard sitting next to you who's also
Your card.
eating
My
porridge.
card!
So something good happens.
Hell yeah.
Oh, hooray!
Unbelievable.
What is
We
that?
got
That's
Kitty's
real
card
pretty.
and Calvin's card.
I know.
That's the golden ship.
They were not near each other at all, so that's great. The porridge still tastes horrible, but like the contents of the let's see, something good should happen to you in addition to the contents of the letter. But do you open the one addressed to you?
I opened the one addressed to me.
Cool. It's in this beautiful flowing script,
Oh, my
and it's got this really really nice tactile. Wayne would be all over this were he here to see it. But it is an invitation. It's Dear Calvin, thank you so much for writing. I always appreciate it when people, when the knowledge I gained helps others to find their path along all of the suns and the worlds we live in.
Nice.
Yeah, she's really nice, and she says, "There is much I have to discuss with you to help you in this journey. I think I could help both. Let's see. What did you tell her? You told her, I want to get to the Blue Sun. What did you tell her about?
I told her a friend who might have a similar problem.
Okay. She says that friend should be very concerned. I've actually, I suspect it might be Wayne. Where I'm at, you see, I'm very well connected, so I know a little bit about what's happening. I think the best way to inform you and your friends of what needs to be done to help them all is for you all to join me at the Eternal Party.
That doesn't sound bad at all.
She has a parenthetical that says, rumor in the Pale is that Wayne is very fun at parties. And so please do encourage your friend to join us. And she says, let's see, what does she say? I think experienced people such as yourself and should be able to find your way into the Pale without too much difficulty. My only advice is to consult my journal, get a visa if you're going to go in living, and be polite.
Well, that shouldn't be too hard.
I hope to see you very soon.
He folds up the letter. He puts it into the pocket of his jacket. He looks down at the porridge and goes, Moxie, gotta say this was a fantastic porridge. And as he's saying that, blood starts spilling out of his mouth. But I really have to get going. Thank you so much for your hospitality. Miss Kitsune, as he does that, like, hair is starting to recede and his face is like growing deathly pale. It was very nice meeting you.
Take the napkin with you.
A pleasure. Excellent.
With that, he's going to start walking out, and I feel like fumbling and stumbling, and I think he's going to have to cast another spell to get himself home.
Yeah, I think with your card come up, does someone you know help you, or do you find something cool? What cool thing? Hey chat, what cool thing could happen to? Could happen to Dear Calvin here as sort of a.
I mean, got this golden ship.
I know. Well, you're headed home, so they can think about that. And you're still struggling with your desire demon over here. What did you do to handle it?
I think I'm just trying to
we're
fix the
about
bird.
to.
I'm like ignoring it, and I'm
that's
just trying to fix the bird, and
Awesome.
it keeps spitting out like delicious omelet. Like it's like spitting like just words to describe how good
You
this-
want to eat the omelet.
I don't. No, I don't.
Awesome. Cool. All right, so you're still working on it.
Like tinkering with it.
the reward the warm egg.
Do you ever shut up?
Soft
What is
cheese.
wrong with you?
Wayne, I'll tell you.
What?
I do.
What? Do you want to eat it?
Shut up. No, I can't eat, Wayne. So you have to eat for me. I'll shut up if you take just one big, heaping spoonful of joyful golden egg. And you wrap your tongue around it.
I don't have time to make a whole nother omelet. I just don't have it. I don't have it.
That's the best thing, Wayne. You don't need to. You got one made for you already, just waiting for you.
But then where's Calvin's omelet come from?
What am I, the Calvin police? I'm a man with 2 gigantic spoons for hands. My existence is a tragedy, Wayne.
I take I take my Rubik's Cube out of my
Yes.
pocket, and I switch it around, and I walk over just in front of the little spoon Wayne, and looking him dead in the eye, I reach over and slap it onto the omelet, which immediately flash freezes, and then I shatter it into nothing.
Oh,
it just shatters
nice.
100% away.
Wayne! I'll never die now, Wayne! This desire will always be with you. He grabs your face
It's horrible.
with either side of your face with his horrible spoon hands, and he gets his tiny little Wayne face up into your face. I'm gonna be a part of you forever, Wayne.
I think
I'm gonna be a part of you forever,
Is it
Wayne.
crawling into me?
Yeah,
Ugh.
he melts back inside you.
it's horrible. So Calvin shows up.
I smoked the rest of his cigar.
Oh, there you go. That's lovely. Along the way, you're getting so tired, and you're feeling. You were looking pretty rough, and a kindly angel, Argentus, had helped walk you home. They are a lightly robed, tall humanoid made of silver, and so you sort of already felt kind of a kinship. They're pretty androgynous, and they were just very helpful. So Argentus, I think, had put out an arm and escorted you home.
Yeah, I think Calvin goes, oh no, I don't need help, and immediately collapses
Yes.
into Argento's arms.
That's great. That is from Solemn Lyrian, Landon Smith, Argentus. So Calvin appears at the door with a huge, tall, beautiful, androgynous angel, just after you had swallowed your horrible desire demon thing. All right. So what, does the apartment look trashed again? Because of all your stuff?
I think if anything, it looks better.
I
Because
think
I've
probably,
used almost all of the spoons.
Oh,
at this
good point.
So there's no more clutter around. I probably spent some time putting it back together.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just opened the door. There's the nub of a cigar still burning in my mouth, and I look at Calvin and I look up at the angel, and I just say, I'll take it from here.
Keep him safe, won't you?
I will. Thank you so much.
Of course.
And I put Calvin's arm over my shoulder, and I just kind of drag him over to the couch and lay him down.
Okay.
And I kind of feel like a balloon sort of inflating. He sort of fills out again and regains his health.
Yeah, it looks less drained and horrible. Do you show him the device?
Once you seem like you're back to normal, I sit down. I sit down. I'm as you come to, I'm looking at your face and checking up on you.
Wait.
Hey.
I think the bird sort of hovers over me.
Yeah.
And its beak opens up. And it's a little thing that says, "You feel terrible."
I made you something.
This is great.
Remember when I promised I'd make you a replacement bird?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. It seems like you're having trouble collecting your thoughts sometimes. So I
that's very
intentionally,
sweet.
definitely on purpose, made you a bird that can help you see them in a tangible way.
When you look at that, that is very sweet. When you look at it, though,
You are grateful.
oh, very cute. I'm thinking your golden ship picked up right after the disaster of the object. So I'm thinking, as you get it, you're playing, you're kind of playing with it, checking it out. And what was the function you initially wanted it to have?
I was originally hoping that we could use it as like a surveillance bird.
Okay.
But that seems like it's not even capable of that anymore. It just really isn't capable of it.
But it's made out of silver, and you work with silver, sort of, in a very, very limited sense. And your card came up, so I'm thinking you discover that function in it. Like, as much as it seemed to have broken, it's just that it, like, the wrong
cool.
modules were, like, you couldn't get the modules to, like, run the right way. It just wouldn't move. But your sort of mastery over silver or fiddling, you're like, oh, did you also know? It does.
Oh, hey, it's got a
goggle.
little. It has this little glass bubble inside of it, and if you look in this one, you can see what it's seeing.
Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you about that part that I did. It's sort of like my peephole that I use for my front door.
That's so great! I love that.
Yeah, I noticed that you liked that, so I kind of built it into the bird. It was an afterthought, so not really what I originally intended it for, but I just kind of did that, and because it seemed like you thought that was cool. Do you want an omelet or something? We can talk about something else.
Oh my god, I would love an omelet.
Great. Give me an hour and a half, and I'll whip one right up for you.
I almost forgot. I've got something for you. He hands you a very fancy, and I think I left the other letter there for Kitty.
Nice.
Is this letter also from the same?
The Tory
lady?
as you.
So I look at my name on the envelope and I say, this handwriting is very familiar.
Weird. We got an invitation to the eternal party.
Huh.
It's in the pail.
Can I read your letter?
Yes.
Great. I read it, which clearly details. Doesn't it basically imply that you reached out to her?
Yes.
Great. Yeah. So I put 2 and 2 together on that basically instantly. But I would like perhaps to make a deception.
Yeah, I
to
think
let
so.
none of that show on my face at all.
Let's have it make a roll.
All right, here we go. Which of my failure dice should I use?
Oh man. Okay.
I'm also going to give you a joy for seeing your beautiful product even better than you had envisioned it.
Great.
Or at least kind of working.
Because not only is it a surveillance object, it also tells you what you're feeling.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to give me a joy for eating my weird desire.
No,
Like,
we're going to talk
right.
about that in
I'll
character
always
summaries.
be a part of you, Wayne.
roll, and it is
Zero.
a 0.
Okay, you are unable to
You seem
mask
upset.
the rage.
Nope. I'm like squeezing the paper.
White-knuckled.
Yep, you're damaging. That's my invitation.
You're right. It sure is. Sure is. Would be real annoying to you if someone ruined something of yours. Wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be terrible? Oh no. I hand it back.
Okay, now I'm definitely getting the feeling that something's wrong, and I kind of feel that we're friends and now roommates.
I would, yeah. Country or French? How do you like your omelets? Country or French?
Country.
Great. And I just walk around him and start making.
Excellent. I think we might scene shortly there, unless you need a thing.
Nope.
Okay. Beautiful. This is terrible. All right. So, after that day, let's...
You'll never be rid of me!
That was horrible. Let's do
I feel like
character
it's
summaries.
in there, like, he might as well have taken your omelet, Wayne. Like, everything's omelet related, but it's always trying to get me, like, riled up.
That secret of yours is a big, big Denver omelet. Oh, Denver omelet of a secret. You got a Denny's Grand Slam inside you, and he's gonna taste that. He's gonna throw it in the trash, Wayne.
You can't make a few omelets without breaking that egg head of his open, can you, Wayne?
This is advanced far beyond a flux, which surprises me not in the least. All right, character summaries, guys.
Okay, yeah, great.
Yep, sure.
This was an intense session, so I want you to talk about, like,
A lot happened.
important, like, you know, the big takeaways for your characters, things that might have brought them joy or despair, some of which my GM shifts as I awarded, like, good things and bad things, count those separately. So you got a joy and a despair.
Yep.
And
I have a joy.
You have a joy, so write that down. And then talk about like how your character sort of changed the session, how they may have progressed along any arcs or like different development things they're doing, and stuff that brought them joy and despair.
So my 2 character arcs are find a place in Saturnine and make a powerful enemy, and I kind of feel like I nailed both.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like I'm horribly trapped in a place in Saturnine, and my enemy seems pretty formidable.
Yeah. So sorry, what's the Saturnine one?
Find a place in Saturnine.
Oh yeah. Oh God.
And that place is just a nightmare prison
you
above a
found it.
place where celestials are ground into sausage that no one buys.
You definitely progressed along those paths. That doesn't mean it's peachy progression, but yeah.
Nope.
So
I mean, neither one of those arcs is
right.
exactly positive.
Yeah, but you definitely made some big progress on the arc with the making the powerful enemy, right?
Oh, for sure.
Especially bringing Wayne into it, and sort of now he seems to have leverage over both of you.
I mean, Wayne could be my powerful enemy now because
true.
not only
It's true.
Not only have I trapped him in this terrible agreement, but I have also seemed to have ruined his secret.
You touched my stuff.
unintentionally.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. So I think you made big progress along the enemy thing. Find a new place. Yep. It got bad, but you made progress. I'm going to award you 5 acumen for
5 acumen.
that
All right.
stuff. So just take a note of that. And what do you think brought you any joy or despair in this session?
Oh,
It's kind of an emotional roller coaster.
yeah,
so
for
you guys might have gotten a
Calvin,
couple.
I mean, there weren't too many ups for Calvin. It was most like, I
Yeah.
mean, if he gets a joy, it is the moment where Wayne made that huge
Yeah.
sacrifice and
Yeah.
was like, you know, I live here now too.
Yeah.
So that could be a huge moment of joy. And then there's just also the despair of, you know, he thought he had a handle on things.
Yeah.
He was sort of progressing along this magical track, and all of that led him to do something incredibly foolish that also kind of got Wayne stuck into
embroiled.
the situation with him.
Cool. I think I would definitely give you despair for today. And I think trying to debate whether, I mean, I think it's good for Calvin to have a person around, right? You've been living alone in your room for a while now, and I think that was sort of eking away at.
Again, the way that I responded to my predicament was ripping the fear out of my body, which was
Yeah.
not a healthy move.
If things hadn't gone so poorly in the last like 10 minutes between you and Wayne, I think you might have gotten a joy, but I think you're just handing out despair
Oh,
for
no.
this. So that's okay. Despair is good too. All right. What about you?
I think. Holy moly.
I know.
Well, definitely utter despair at the. I've made no progress in my personal journey to uncover what's going on with me, and in fact, seem to have the one lead I have just seems to be so heavily strewn with obstacles. Like I'm trying to get to this blue sun, and I don't even really have a guarantee that what I'm looking for will actually be there. And it's just become so
Yeah.
hard suddenly to just even get there.
Yeah.
And I think now I've got like all this other stuff that's like distracting me and getting in the way. And like, well, now I have to break us out of this lease, and I have to like find something
Yeah.
worth negotiating with, and like all this stuff that is like. These are all things I have to do before I can even pursue the thing
Oh,
that I'm
God,
trying
yeah.
to get at. So that's probably like really got me down. And then to find out that I was willing to like put myself in this place and like freaking Calvin's over here reading my damn journals and stuff and getting in
no.
touch with people I'd rather not talk to.
Yeah.
Has just driven me completely nuts.
Oh
I think.
man.
Yeah, wow. Total shame you haven't made any progress towards solving that mystery of yours. Oh, wait! You've made significant progress!
I don't.
You didn't even have to do anything!
I don't see that. I don't see any results of it. You know what I mean? Like I don't think I interpret it.
It doesn't. You, the player, is looking down on the character and asking whether they moved along their arc, even if they think they've reached setbacks.
Oh, I see.
So,
so I think
it's helpful to
yeah.
know what your character thinks, but in terms of awarding points, it's like
I see.
us stepping outside and torturing our characters.
Got it. Stepping outside of it, I think clearly this represents a step forward in resolving that arc.
Cool.
Yes. But having to be outside the Wenosphere and like all this stuff is pretty brutal.
I feel like you in particular might be taking on another maybe short arc. There's things like aid a friend. Like, is that what you signed your?
Think
it's kind of an arc.
That is, I guess.
I mean,
that I'm
in your, but it doesn't have to be that too. It could be like, you know, phrase it however you want. What do you think is the most important part of the new problems you see yourself having to solve in the next little bit?
Aid a friend, I think, makes sense to me. And then now I'm tacking on to my to-do list of like, we're going to do some research on Calvin.
Some research?
Yeah.
Of what nature?
I'd like to know. For now, I've been content to be like, well, he's my shadow buddy, and he seems pretty oblivious and claims to not have been to the actuality before. So there's no way that he could possibly have anything to do with what I have going on. But now I'm like, well, maybe he does.
And also, why does Daniel McPherson want him so bad?
Yeah, exactly.
Why am I bound to Kitty Hart, your soulmate?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd like to know.
Yeah,
I've decided
totally.
that maybe I've taken some things at face value that perhaps merits
love
some
that.
investigation.
Awesome. I'm going to call that for right now. Gosh.
Is it
what
just
should we
a
call
second
that?
Uncover a mystery?
Yeah,
Is that
possibly.
possible?
It's
Uncover a different mystery.
it's maybe even less uncover and more like explore or something, or like let's see, learn. Why don't we just call
there we
that
go.
learn? Because
Learn.
it's less like a big mystery. Okay, so you're gonna learn, maybe aid a friend, and I'm gonna give you.
eat his omelet, Wayne.
God, yeah, you definitely got to despair today.
I think when I'm like, whenever we get in our first fight, I'm gonna be
no.
yelling omelet-related stuff at
Yes, you
our
are.
enemies.
And even if you're not yelling it, it's ticking out of the bird, right?
Yeah.
It's
Oh, man.
It's a litany of.
Does the bird pick up Spoon Wayne's thoughts from within me?
Oh my
almost
God!
certainly.
I think
Actually,
it's,
can I use Spoon Wayne to mask my, like to mind
Probably.
shield myself?
I love that. Yeah.
fuck. That's very good.
Especially
That's
for
great.
Shepherd's minds.
Yeah.
I mean, Wayne has not realized that yet. Wayne is only subsumed by horrible omelet-related terror
Yeah.
and torture. But cool. So you got a despair for all of that happening.
Great.
You had gotten a joy because you made something really cool in the end, even though it turned out a little more surprising than you thought.
Right. And that's this one, right?
Yes.
Great.
Cool. All right. And you started on 2 new paths that could bring you new acumen, and we'll see where they go.
I mean, I have one of each. Can I go down my forte?
Yeah. That would be great.
I'm gonna do that.
Ooh, what new ability do you get?
I don't know.
It's a super cool I can read minds ability.
Yeah, Shepherd's Minds.
Super cool.
I like that you sort of got it through making a mind reading object too,
Yeah.
By accident.
by accident.
You chose that for me. But the
This game is not magic.
There's no magic.
Yeah. Wow. Nope.
I was gonna kill you today, and that was before I was mad at you.
All right. Your current ability is No Mind. Now you get to pick Mental Speech or Jolt Mind.
Ooh, juicy.
Very juicy. All right. So stay tuned, everybody, because we will find out also through a different development mode over text how Wayne got to be in such a state, is missing part of Pinky, and was very scorched and otherwise ragged when he came back from whatever mysterious activity he got up to with the rat daughter. So,
Oh yeah, everybody, pick up on that hashtag. I'm sure Darcy is gonna love that one.
Please don't get me fired.
Hashtag Monty Cook lies.
No! It was just his birthday. Give it a week.
So,
We're
quick
ruining
question:
it.
if I go down one of these 2 paths,
Yeah.
I can't go down the other side.
You totally
right?
can.
Oh, you can.
It just it'll start to cost more when you get to the higher tier abilities, and
I
you have
understand.
to get them in orders.
Ooh.
So exciting! Should we wrap? Do you know what you want, or Are you gonna have to read
I
it
mean,
for
there's
that?
so much juice.
There's a lot of juice. We're dealing with gallons of juice right now. So thank you all so much for
Yes.
watching A Woman with Hollow Eyes. We're gonna be back next
Tuesday.
Tuesday. We are shifting to Tuesday for next week, but we will see you there. It's going to be at the same time, 7:30 p.m., same place, twitch.tv/OneShotRPG. You'll be able to catch all of our reruns on our YouTube page. Please go by, check those out, pass them on to your friends so we can get more lovely people in the chat. And thank you all so much for your contributions to the game. You know, we loved getting the assistance because we desperately needed it. This was kind of
It was
a
rough.
lost session for us.
Yeah, and we'll see what happened with Kitty possibly next week.
Oh boy, I cannot wait to see.
In the fighting
This thing
pit.
was so obviously fixed. I guarantee you Kitty set that up.
Astrid would never. They are only the most upright.
No,
Of
no,
fae beings.
I think Kitty threw the fight. It's not that Astrid is dishonorable. Kitty threw the fight.
I'd subscribe to that.
Because it makes perfect sense with Calvin and their relationship that he bet everything on her on a fight that
threw the
she was
fight.
actively fixing with that Kitsune person.
Oh, totally.
Yep.
Yeah,
The Kitsune.
who is hanging out at the bar that she works at.
Yep, definitely.
Oh yeah.
All right.
And the Kitsune said that she was the favorite that week, right?
Yeah.
So clearly she had
set
done
you
the
up.
work, said it. God damn it. God damn it. Kitty Hart!
Kitty
You're
Hart.
not even here, Cat, and you did this.
She's very talented.
All right.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good
See you
day.
next time, heroes.